I took up the sound there by ad-libbing. Nice. Pretty cool ad-lib. Soon the nation will gather at the polling places to undertake the important task of electing a vice president. I mean, sure, there will be another guy on the ticket, but for Dan Coen of vicepresidents.com and the author of Second String, the vice presidential election is pretty important. Hi, Dan. How are you? Hello, Dan. I have plunked your... Oh, there you go. I got you now, Dan.
Yeah.
So Dan, you've written the book Second String. Why specialize in vice presidents? Why not Speaker of the House or Majority Whip, something like that?
Well, I kept looking down the line and said, well, you know, the second string, the vice president, simply had not been talked about a lot. You'd think it would be a topic everybody would love. I mean, they're one heartbeat away from the presidency, but unfortunately it is not a topic that people have studied. And so we came up with vicepresidents.com.
So after going through all the vice presidents and actually doing something that no one else seems to have ever cared about, and that's vice president, even though, as you say, he's a heartbeat away from the presidency, it could be the easiest job since you don't really have to do much. Who's your favorite vice president?
Well, that's a tough question because by virtue of being a vice president, you're not supposed to really be great or to do anything.
You can't outshine the president, right?
Exactly. You don't want that. You know, the first 150 years in office, vice presidents were thanks for joining the ticket, now go away, and I won't see you for 4 years. Some people feel that John Tyler, who served back in 1840 as vice president, they say he's pretty much one of the better ones just because he was the first to become president, to actually replace William Henry Harrison in office.
What was your least favorite vice president?
Well, there are a lot of those to choose from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if there's one that I don't particularly like. I think, more importantly, there's some fascinating stories out there. Hannibal Hamlin, for instance, who served under Abraham Lincoln for 4 years. Nobody knows that.
When you said the name, I'm thinking, who the world is that?
Well, he's on the top 5 all-name team for vice president. So
okay, I go for that, yeah.
Wasn't he a little bit crazy, too?
Hannibal Hamlin was actually one of the more interesting guys. He ended up going and serving in the Navy during the Civil War. And after 4 years as vice president, Abraham Lincoln said, you know, you haven't been around much anyhow, so I'm going to dump you and bring Andrew Johnson on.
Because he'd been in the Navy the whole time.
He'd been in the Navy. He was a cook in the Navy.
No, he was the vice president of the U.S., a cook in the Navy. I didn't know that.
Well, it's sort of the same thing going on now.
What do you mean?
Well, it's Cheney's former company.
Yeah.
Occasionally feeds...
So he works with this company, too. Yeah, he feeds the troops with that company. Ray Cheney, I mean, he's very powerful, isn't he, for a vice president?
Dick Cheney is by far the most powerful vice president we've had. But we talk about it at vicepresidents.com, how from 1976 to the present day, we have a modern vice presidency. And so Cheney and Gore and George Bush Sr., Mondale, they have established this new vice president that actually does things, and that was not the case in the past.
Well, Cheney, I think, more than anyone else, is depended upon by President Bush, I mean, or the president at the time.
Yeah, the vice president's duties are based on how the president wants to use him or her, and he's using Dick Cheney, no doubt about it.
And what do you think of Edwards as a Veep? What do you think he would do?
He would be an interesting vice president. There are two schools of thought. First is, who's a good campaigner to help win an office, and certainly Edwards falls into that mode. He is an excellent campaigner and a great communicator.
Nice hair.
As vice president, will he stay on the John Kerry path? Will he follow Kerry's agenda? Will he do what Kerry needs him to do? The reason folks thought Edwards wouldn't be selected is that he wouldn't stay on message for Kerry. He's doing it, though, during the campaign. It could be a fun 4 years watching them kind of go their separate ways, perhaps.
Why does anyone accept the position? I mean, when you talk about it, it looks as though it's a position you don't get a lot of thanks, and you have to follow behind someone else and maybe do things that you don't want to do.
Well, that's a terrific question. The first 150 years, the office was not accepted. There were tons of people who turned down the vice presidency. They said, "Why would I become vice president? I have a great job as a congressman."
Give me one person who turned it down.
Daniel Webster, who is a senator and a great one.
Daniel Webster.
turned down the vice presidency.
What did he say when he rejected the office?
He said, I'd rather be alive. I mean, to become vice president is basically to be buried before my time.
I'd rather be alive? Okay, good.
And so there were plenty of folks who said, hey, it doesn't interest me that much. However, today, it really is a great office because of the 24-hour news cycles and the media and the fact that in today's age, you basically need two people. You need a vice president who can go on the talk shows and communicate well.
And also you get your very own undisclosed location to hang out.
And I'm sure he has more than one.
All right, the book again is called Second String, and you can go to vicepresidents.com.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Yes.
This is the BBC.
This is the BBC.
Educating people for the next generation.
700 WLW.